What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the night shift. It's an exciting time here in Deadlock. We've got new hero releases. We've got a lot of great stuff. I can't wait, Dan, to get this one underway and see what the top teams are doing with some of the new content in Deadlock.
It's going to be fun. I mean, there's so much. This game is really coming together in ways that are super interesting, and there's about 100 things I want to talk about, Jake. But we're at the top of the show, so I'm gonna hold off so you can run us through what we're up against here.
Yeah, of course. So, for longtime fans of the night shift, none of this is going to come as a surprise. Same format. It's going to be the top teams first in EU, then in NA. We can take a quick look at our bracket to see the teams that are going to be featured today. It's going to be Lowkey W versus Leviathan in the EU Challenger match. The winner is going to go on to face the ever-dominant Abrahams. And why don't you take us through NA, Dan?
Yes, the Floormen versus Bunny with Clock, and then facing the perennial winners, Melee Creeps. They are the new look Hydra Nation, I guess, in one sense. Obviously, none of those players, but in terms of dominance in the region, and so it should be. I mean, both sides of this broadcast are looking honestly really stacked. And given all the changes in the game and the additional heroes and everything, it's gonna be super fun.
Yeah, excited to see a lot of these teams get into the action, see what they can do with some of the new stuff going on in Deadlock. But of course, the old favorites here at the Night Shift, the people who make it all happen. We want to give a shout out to our patrons. If you go over to Patreon, you support us there. It's the most direct way to support the show, keep us running. We're doing our best to bring in some sponsors, and I think the time is nigh for it. But really, it's our patrons who bridge the gap for us and allow us to continue to have a real grassroots Deadlock esports scene. So huge shout out to the board members doing very, very big things here in the community. But of course, everyone across Patreon, whatever you're able to support, it does make a huge difference and really keeps the lights on here at Night Shift.
Yes, the board is growing, and I don't know if I should be concerned with that or not, considering that how much decision-making power are we really allowing?
We're diluting your equity, Dan, with the board members. I just wanted to let you know that now is a good moment to go over that little detail.
Okay. Well, that's fine. Let's sell it all. We are a grassroots show, of course. It's all about you guys and just staying connected with you guys. And this is such a great way to do it. So thank you for the support. And obviously, this show today is going to be absolutely epic because we had we're hitting new peaks every hero release, Jake, in terms of the numbers here with Deadlocks, and there's a lot of retaining these players as well. So things are really starting to get interesting, and we probably have a lot of new eyeballs on the broadcast today. So if you are a new viewer and you're just tuning in for the first time, welcome.
Yeah, welcome, of course, to the new viewers. I'm sure there's a lot of new and old Deadlock fans coming back to the game. It's kind of that moment to come check it out. 3 hero releases down, yet there's still 3 more to come. So an exciting moment here. We've got a ton to sink our teeth into on the show today. And also to highlight, some of the community excitement around the new heroes. I want to bring on Jason here to do the community fan art segment. We love to spotlight our community members, but tell us a little bit more about that, Jason.
Everyone out there's been cooking up some amazing art. It's been quite a few weeks. I actually look back. I think it was Night Shift 16 was the last time we did this. So we're going to bring it back for 24. We're only going to do about 5 of them because honestly, there's too many out there to actually bring into the show. But I'm loving what people put out there for Rem, for Silver, for Grace. Let's start things off by taking a look over from Reddit from _just_art_ with a Billy Rem conversation.
Man, that Billy guy is bad influence.
Can we say this? Can I be like Rem and like Jake's Billy, and then we go through the conversation, or do we just leave it as is? What do you think?
You know what, Jason? I think you should be Rem.
Okay.
All right, give me your best
Billy?
Rem.
Are you Billy?
I'll be Billy.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, now say fuck. Not bad.
That's the best we can do.
That's pretty solid.
I'm
this
not
is
good
such a cute Rem, actually.
You know?
I love this Rem. This is. I mean, Rem is such a. I love that they've added just a completely off the wall character into Deadlock. Right, most of the characters have this hardcore, intense vibe. Not Rem. Rem's just chilling, man, doing his thing, just trying to take a nap.
And whoever did the voice actor for him must have had a really good time with it, to be honest. But we're gonna move on.
Yeah.
Obviously we have a show to bring you. We got from regular-poet-3657 over on Reddit. A little bit of love here between Silver and Mina.
any woos in the chat here. Put your woos in the chat if you're a fan of this one. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Silver is gonna inspire a lot of fan art of all types and varieties. We're very supportive of artistic creativity on this show, and so we had to highlight this beautiful piece with Mina and Silver.
Dude, good art makes you feel things. That's all I'm gonna say.
and feel things we do indeed here on the night shift. We're going to move on now to Sea of Coltrane. Again, from Reddit. All these came from Reddit, so I don't have to say it. Gray straight up dunking on Silver, coming in second place as the second most voted in hero.
With
and
the
Silver
urn.
being delegated to
Crazy.
third. Dunking in the urn like Michael Jordan over LeBron James.
This is crazy. This is crazy work, actually.
Love it. I love it. And you know what? I think we're going to see a lot of Graves here today as well. And so, I mean, Silver and Graves. It's like I actually feel like we should see them a lot. So we should see some of this.
On this, Dan.
Action.
ZP and I had a graveyard shift with Blank right before the show, and I was like, Silver is not going to be played today a single time. It's going to be banned out the entire way through.
I wonder because there's so much. I mean, it's been a while where frontliners have been top of mind for bans, and none of the new heroes are frontliners really. I mean, Silver a little bit of that. So I think this is actually going to be exciting. I think we're going to see a really big change in the meta that is almost going to be impossible to fully predict going in.
Well, speaking of changes here, gentlemen, we're going to change on over to our fourth community art from. It's not from that lone Voyager. It's from their girlfriend. They were just posting it for them. And I love this because you know what? Every time I used to walk into a Walmart, I would look at the camera, but holding Rem up to the cam, it's so sweet. So adorable.
I like the hazing Rem voice lines. They're very cute.
I don't know. This is kind of compromising, isn't it? Because Rem's going to steal some shit. So I feel like. I think this is a problem.
Tunnels. He's gonna grab some of those M&Ms that were like one of those Snickers bar and take it into his tunnel, and then you just hear like a rapper sound just from like this.
That pillowcase is full of stolen candy from the local CVS, man. Like no doubt.
You're gonna lock that. You're gonna look it up.
Sure. All right. Well, we got one more to bring away. Again, there was a ton of them. This time it's from Tash Valiant. And Silver just begging Yoshi, please let me into the game. And eventually it happened. I thought she was going to be second. I think you two gentlemen would probably agree that we thought she was going to be second.
I was a Graves voter. I was a Graves voter.
My man.
I'm doing just fine. I'm doing just fine.
She's my first pick, actually. But I think if you're crazy if you thought Rem wasn't going to win.
I mean, Rem's just a little guy. He's just a cute little guy.
Well, you know, she's sweet and adorable, but she's not always sweet and adorable. We might find out today if we do get. Oh my God, we added an woo emote to the channel. Solomon, please.
Let's go, baby. That's the stuff that people need to express themselves, Jason. You can't get in the way of a man and his woos.
Can we make a goal here, gentlemen? And you know what, ZP, if ZP's there, can we bring him in? Is that possible? Is ZP here? I see his mic muted. I don't know if his camera's on. I don't know if he's got his. I know he's ready. I know he's camera ready.
His PC.
I was not camera ready. No, I'm not camera ready, and I'm eating. But what's up? What do you need?
Okay, can we bring on camera? No, because I just want to know before we go on.
He's eating.
I'm literally eating, and my lights are off. I'm not supposed to be on until at 8. What do you want from me?
So, gentlemen, can we agree? Because we haven't talked about this yet, right? We put up money every week for the players to play. But a lot of money comes in from the fans and the viewers who are donating, which goes directly to the prize pool. Exclamation point donate in the chat. Every single cent you donate goes into the prize pool, into the winner's hands. We do not touch it. Can we agree if we get up to, what are we at, 600 right now? If we double that, if we get up to 1,200 tonight for the players, every single time there is a silver transformation into ultimate, whoever's casted at that time will go,
I'm with that. I'll drop some woos. I'll drop some woos maybe for free. I mean, I won't promise I won't. That's all I'm saying. What if it just comes out of me? It comes out of me.
We got to incentivize here, Jake. You got to be like, I won't do it unless.
Okay. Well, you're the businessman.
You're the businessman. I'm just going to give stupid ideas. Are you down for that, Dan?
I'm in.
ZP?
This might echo.
Mm-hmm.
Hello.
Okay. I can hear he's eating away. I told you we're talking. Keep eating.
Non-committal.
Okay, good. $1,200 into the prize pool. So 600 added to the prize pool for the players. Doesn't go to us. And we will woo every single time throughout the entire show. There's a silver transformation. Or if Solomon throws a silver on the screen for us, just ran. It could be like a flick, just like one frame. And we'll woo according to chat's love out there. Oh, we didn't hit the 600 yet. Anyways, gentlemen, I will hop out because my segment's done. I'll throw it back to you two so we can get underway with the EU portion of the show.
All right, we're going to take a quick look at some of the patch notes, some of our new characters coming into Deadlock, of course. I'm sure a lot of you are already playing the game a ton. You've already checked out Graves and Silver, but just to level the playing field across all the fans and viewers, make sure everybody knows what are the new characters, the new kids on the block in Deadlock. It's Graves, the Necromancer, and Silver, the Lycan, the Werewolf. Going to be really excited to see them played at the top level, but we've got a little bit of a display here of some of the new things coming up in this new patch.
Yeah, it's really cool because I think for some people, I think Graves was a little bit of a shock because it's almost it's more of, I feel like we're moving more into MOBA territory with the addition of Graves and how she can help with map control. Using the tombstone and like the ult, and also just in general like area control. That's really strong actually, and it is really interesting because we don't have anything else like that. So here's the first ability, which is the Jar of Skulls. I don't know what the official term is for that name.
I believe it's the Jar of Dead. The Deadhead summons these little Deadheads. These can be killed by enemies shooting them or quick meleeing. So they're not invincible. They do a pretty insane amount of damage if you don't clear them, though. So definitely one thing to watch about. The second skill, this wall, when you place it down, anyone who steps across it gets immobilized. And it's a pretty painful lockdown. A lot of damage, a lot of value put down. And it's really hard to play around in the fight. Her passive is that it takes away gun damage and spirit resistance from your opponent, so you kind of like sapping their damage. So you pair this in the ultra late game with like a silencer or an inhibitor, and it's really nuking the damage. And finally, this is the tombstone. I think this is really the iconic ultimate from Graves. These little zombies, when they hit heroes or buildings, they explode, dealing a pretty big burst of damage. And when they hit lane creeps, they just melee and push out waves. So they're insanely powerful. You summon this tombstone, and it's going to push out the wave. It can take objectives on its own. It can kill heroes. It's really, really powerful. It can be killed with 2 heavy melees, though. Now let's take a quick look at Silver. So the first skill on her kit is sets you up your gun with a quick reload and this little 3-shot burst fire with a bit of extra burst if you hit all 3 shots. Her second skill, we'll show in a second, is the bouquet. Actually, no, sorry, I forgot I made this. It actually turns into we do the Lycan curse first. So if you do enough damage to enemy heroes in a short period of time, you become the Lycan. Your first skill is like this powerful close range melee. Your second skill becomes this big leaping dash. And your third skill, the tail whip, actually disarms enemies. So you're incredibly powerful. You get a big heal and a lot of stats boost, but you need to deal damage to enemy heroes to activate this. And if you get bursted before it goes off, you're going to be pretty weak. In your human form, though, that's the boot kick you're seeing there. It gives you a little light melee proc as well as pushing the enemy away from you after jumping forward. And then your third skill is a bola that locks down movement skills and slows the enemy, prevents them from jumping for a moment. So you have some interesting skills, a lot of combos, and with all the different skills from the Lycan curse, this hero just has insane high level potential.
Yeah, really big damage. Actually, interesting tidbit with Silver's gun is that the reload time is actually the slowest of any hero in the game. It's the only hero where if you kill a trooper, you can't shoot the orb fast enough and it can just get stolen away from you. It's the only hero that's where the base attack speed is actually like that, which is kind of interesting little tidbit.
Yeah.
But super interesting though. Like the combo of frontline versus trying to shred from the sidelines when you're out of your ult is interesting.
Yeah, exactly. I think in their human form, you're pretty dang weak. Like when it comes to farming, when it comes to the early lane before you skill the ult, I feel like this hero isn't that strong. But in the ulti form, you're monstrously powerful, and I think that's a really exciting balance to strike. And I think as top players play, you're going to see a ton of ultis, a ton of snowballs. The ulti also, for each hit you land in your ulti, your gun becomes a melee, but it actually increases your rate of fire. So if you're able to stick on enemies in melee range and keep hitting them, you get to a pretty absurd rate of fire, and you're just going to be tearing through your opposition. I think that the gun damage from this hero is going to be pretty monstrous. Question is, will you get kited out on the Lycan form, or will people, will you be able rather to stay on top of your opponents and really build those stacks up?
Yeah, it's going to be super fun to see how it all plays out because, like you say, there are some clear weaknesses, but I think that the ult form seems just so very monstrous powerful. Because like you get a kill. I don't know if you mentioned this, Jake, but if you get like a kill, like basically you get the full like heal again, and you get to like extend the form like enormously. It's like Yamato is still like really strong, but her ult in contrast is so much worse in that you get a kill, you get extra 2 seconds, but this like refreshes everything and you get the whole new cooldown. So
this is a character that wants to be super strong, that wants to be ahead of the game, and just snowballing from kill to kill in a fight, staying in the Lycan farm forever. I think it's going to be a ton of fun to see what some of the best players in the world do. I know a lot of the top players are saying this hero is insane. This hero might be copping a ton of first bans, so I wonder how much we'll actually see her in play today. But I just have a feeling that she's going to manage to slip through in a game or two, and then we'll have to see how she looks in professional play, what the top players are doing. Next, of course, let's take a quick look at some of the pick priority from last week. So this is where we were last week with the addition of Rem. Rem got a pretty serious amount of play time, right? Got into 4 games. Doesn't seem to be quite strong enough to cop bans, but was going blow for blow with Paige in terms of the prio. However, I'm expecting to see this almost completely shaken up with all the new heroes that are going to be coming in. Especially, I think Graves and Silver are both pretty relevant. So I'm really curious to see what heroes end up on top. We've also had some pretty significant patch notes to some of our existing heroes. So this is what it looked like last week, and I'm just ready for this to be, I think, completely flipped on its head going into the next week's shift.
Yeah, like Mina and Abrams, for example. I mean, Mina got some nerfs across the board, so she might not be like in such heavy contention. And Abrams as well got some nerfs to his damage output, so he might also drop in priority a little bit. But then you've got a lot of people going up in priority. Like, so like I don't know how like the Bebop builds, like the Witchmail builds, where he's like super tanky and just like impossible to kill. If like what the value is there for pro play, but you also do have like improvements, like in just having Graves in the game, and I think she's been rated highly. Grey Talon also like got some buffs as well, though he's actually a bit scarier again. And so there's a lot. I totally agree, Jake. Like the shake-up that we could see today could be just monumentous.
Yeah, I kind of hope we get some more GT. Like, I feel like it's been a while since we've seen Great Talent. I mean, some of the pubs I played, like, I see Great Talents building, like, literally only Spirit and then, I don't know, some, like, superior stamina at some point in the game, so you're not just a complete, like, one hit. But the damage this hero puts out has always been insane and could be especially valuable in this week's shift with if characters like Mina aren't so good at, getting on top of your backline. Maybe you're not picking her as often. Hey, maybe we will see some of these lesser picked heroes rising back up in the priority, but it's all to be determined. We're also going to be able to take a quick look at last week's item prio. This is a place where I actually wonder how much shift we will see, because most of the items I don't think have been changed too much in the last patch. I think maybe, might be new heroes buying them. It might be, adjustments in that way. The green items showing up in a huge way, man. Healbane and Enduring Speed on top.
Yeah, this looks super. I mean, this is just as you would expect. I think stuff like Dispel Magic, which used to be debuff remover for some people. I kind of miss the old name. I don't know if I'll just get used to it or not, and always be salty about that. But yeah, Dispel Magic is debuff remover, so it makes sense that that's going to be high up on the priority list. Healbane's kind of been up and down, but all of these, like you said, Jake, have been here, just shifting slightly.
Yeah, I mean, I think Enduring Speed, Healbane, Warpstone, I expect these items to still be top tier. Dispel Magic, though, I'm really curious to see how much it actually gets bought anymore. I think it's a significantly worse item than it was before in most cases, in my view, since, you're not getting that flat debuff resistance. So yes, it's really powerful dispelling your debuffs one single time, but if you do just get stunned after this item, I mean, it's providing a little bit of spare resistance. It's something. You might still need it on characters like Mina or Wraith, so you don't just get, slowing hexed and insta-killed. But it's a lot, doesn't feel so good. Like it doesn't give you, I think, the stats you really wanted. Now you're going to need to go invest in like an Unstoppable or a Spellbreaker to get that natural debuff resistance. So I think debuffs could be particularly strong in this patch, since probably fewer Dispel Magic / debuff removers purchased and less natural debuff resistance across the board.
Actually, one thing as well that goes to Bebop's favor, especially now as well that people are building more bomb for him, is that if you use Dispel Magic, I think the bomb just drops. Like it drops on the ground and explodes. So that's
Bebop,
actually
I think, is very good right now, at least from what it seems in my pubs. Like the new Bebop build is like rushing. They rush double armors. They get like a Witchmail, and it's really much more of like a frontline brawler than I think we've seen Bebop before. You get super tanky. You're getting a ton of lifesteal. You're uppercutting people. You're just right in the mix, putting bombs on everybody, and man, you feel pretty hard to kill at some phases in the game. You need like basically a fed up carry to just like roll up and focus you down with really stable damage. Feels like spirit nuking is so hard to kill this Bebop build with. So I'm really curious to see if that ends up being played, maybe by some of our top Bebop players. Love to see what Taz can do on a build like that.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, I can't wait to see that. Yeah, it's super interesting how the pros are going to interpret all of this, because like you say, the pubs versus the pro play is often going to be a little bit different. But it looks like we have there's a moment here to go into our first team. So we're getting closer and closer to the draft, closer to the game actually kicking off, and then hopefully some Arus along the way as well. So here, I mean, we've seen Lowkey W play quite effectively week in and week out. We're getting sharyk, returning as well, and lystic. So that in of itself is exciting, Jake.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of storied players, right? Cosmetical, sharyk, and lystic, all formerly Buff Enjoyers players, combining forces with some of the old Lowkey W players. I mean, this is now a team that I think could put a more serious test on EU, right? Abrahams have been on top for a while. You know, they felt like their lead has maybe expanded over Leviathan, who have also been pretty, you know, pretty easily disposed of the opponents in the challenger matches. Like, it's always been Leviathan, and yet it's always Abrahams taking the win. Things have been too stable for too long here in EU, and I wonder if this roster could start to shake the foundations of that and maybe lead us to a different result in the challenger match and maybe a different opponent for Abrahams in that money match to come.
That is an exciting prospect, and I think there's a lot of reasons for players to start to get more hungry, because I think obviously before the latest patch and so on, you know, we didn't have near as much interest in the game, and I think people are really feeling like the open beta is coming around the corner, and I think for some of the competitors, some of them were getting maybe a little bit bored, but there's such a new breath of kind of just life that has been breathed into the scene with this update and the renewed interest. That, you know, I think that, you know, you could see things getting really sweaty amongst these top teams and some of the great players coming back, people trying to really, you know, make competitive teams, because maybe, and if we are hitting open beta, you know, getting signed to some actual teams, we're starting to get paid some, you know, some salaries and so on, is something that could be feasibly, you know, around the corner in the next 6 months. So it's actually really important to raise the stock value now as much as possible.
Yeah, I feel like this is actually just a key moment in the history of the game, right? You know, yes, you always want to be on top. You always want to be the top dog, but it really does feel like we're getting closer to kind of a marquee moment from an esports perspective. So there's a lot to be said for being a team coming up right now. Like, yes, Abrahams and Melee Creeps, they've been dominant for a long time, but if you unseat them here today, I feel like there's actually a much bigger reward than historically in the game, given that we're moving forward and the game is developing so quickly. But of course, to get that chance against Abrahams, you're going to have to go through Leviathan. Empty Dreams, Overseas, and Freemock, these guys have been really, really solid, joined by Flammable and ZXC Bobby 2011. That is a banging name, Dan. I have not seen this name before, but welcome, ZXC Bobby 2011. I'm going to say that every time. Just kidding.
Yeah. I think we usually go Bob. I like to try to keep it simple, but we can do the whole full thing, man. I'm down for the challenge. But yeah, like Ray on there in the end too.
Hey, Bobby. Yeah, I mean, this is a sick team, actually. You know, Empty Dreams, you know, here this week to you know, rock things on any playmakers. You know, I think Pocket is still like just as annoying and powerful as ever. Overseas, you know, talking about a Bebop. Overseas is one of the Bebop players of EU, so I would love to see that out of him. Yeah, I think another player that you're going to be wanting to watch out for, especially if Bebop ends up being contested a little bit more than he has in past weeks, which I expect, but we'll have to see. Sharyk also has looked really good on this team before, and I believe was he a sub player for them in the past?
I think maybe, yeah.
About that, but I think he maybe I'm mistaken.
Okay, I can give the details. He was subbing in for Empty Dreams. He was subbing in for Empty Dreams on one of the weeks, and then he was off the next week. But now with the roster change, he is back on the team as a permanent member, I believe.
I like this. They look great with him. However, Empty Dreams also look great. So I you know, some roster shuffles here in EU makes a lot of sense for Leviathan and Lowkey W, both trying to kind of rejigger their setup, be ready to really put a test to Abrahams and really vie for that top spot here at the night shift.
Lovely stuff. Yeah, it's going to be a great first match, to be honest. Should be super competitive. Again, it's hard to say. I mean, sadly for these teams, it's a best of one. And it was really, really tricky in Deadlock, again, especially considering the lack of precedent that we have how to even play whatever the hell the meta is right now.
Yeah, let's take a quick look at our Mo and Krill 1v1 tradition here on the night shift. This is how we go for that coin flip. Instead of a coin flip, rather for first pick versus second pick for getting picked prio in the draft. Instead, we run a Mo and Krill melee 1v1. Although I think today we're going to do things a little bit differently. It's going to be Silver, not only quick manning, but also allowed to use the boot kick. So add a little bit of dynamism here, showcase one of our newest characters in Deadlock. I wonder if they're gonna. What happens if they become Lycans? Like, because I think if you in this mode, you have the ult pre-skilled. I'm not sure. Oh, big parry though.
Oh, nice. Okay, yeah, in trouble. Who is in the blue? I can't even see the name.
My God.
The parry in return.
Both. This is wildly close, actually. But the fact that they weren't able to get any follow-up damage on that parry from our orange silver, I feel like the movement level has gotten so much higher. Oh, and a risky committed melee there gets the job done here.
Nice. Oh my God. Has Mo been unseated as like the standard now? Because that was pretty dope. I mean, Mo can't. He hasn't got a flying kick. Okay.
That's true. Little old Mo. I feel like Mo is one of those characters. He's gonna be forever in our hearts. You know, we're never gonna forget about Mo and Little Krill riding on his back. So we'll have to come back to it at some point. But of course, now it's, you know, we got to ride the excitement here in Deadlock with our newest hero, Silver, joining the cast. And it's Leviathan with the first pick. So I'm very curious to see. This is our first look at the new meta with the new heroes in. What is the ban priority? Does Lowkey W feel like they have to ban the silver to deny Leviathan from taking it first? Or will be one of our experienced older heroes that we see a little bit more of? And yeah, Shiv ban, classic here. Classic opener from Leviathan. Still a very powerful character in the current meta.
Yes, absolute classic move. Okay, all right. So there's some room for a silver pick, or perhaps is it going to get banned? I mean, this is really what the moment I'm waiting for. Yamato gets banned, which is interesting because she has grown in strength a lot in terms of how people are estimating her post patch and everything. So okay, this is the moment. Are we going to see Silver top 3? She's open and available. We know she's pretty OP. Do these teams care?
I wonder. This is the big test. And it's Abrams rather.
All right.
I mean, this has been also a classic frontliner. I mean, frontliners have been the most valuable picks in the draft for quite a while now in Deadlock. I mean, even with the new heroes we have, we don't really have a new frontliner, right? You know, I don't think any of these characters really fit that definition. So they're still getting an extra priority. But here we go.
Let's go.
W, pick up the silver in response. And what are they going to pair it with? I wonder if they grab a support duo here to help, you know, speed the silver along and give her some extra value, whether that's like a Rem or a Page here. Wouldn't
Graves. Give me the Graves. Billy. Okay, well, Billy is...
In fairness, it's kind of the last frontliner available, so maybe you really wanted to lock this down. You know, you didn't want to just find yourself out of frontliners as we go deeper into the draft.
I do feel like I do feel like we could see Graves top 3. I don't know if it's just wishful thinking, but I do think she is super strong, and she has like a unique dynamic to like how she's able to pressure the map, and there's no one else that has that, so creates some interesting problems. But Paradox, someone that did benefit also from the patch changes, went up in priority overall, so that's not too surprising to see. Still generally favored over a Holiday, but Bebop is another one that's in question for that kind of initiation. But there you go. You get the Pocket for Empty Dreams.
I will say I think Pocket is a really nice pick into the silver because it's a hero that Pocket you can just like show up on her in human form, pop all your nukes and get out, and she's probably not going to really deal any damage to you. So you might be able to assassinate her, prevent her from ever turning into the Lycan. If I'm not mistaken, it's a Page, I think, from the audio. We'll see if it loads in. Yeah, okay. So it's audio. Page Billy, can't go wrong.
Billy Page.
She's actually going to fit in really well with Silver as well. You know, trying to jump on her and burst her is really risky when Page could easily turn the tides on you. And a ban on the Rem. So Lowkey W saying, hey, we're going to grab Page. We're going to take away Rem. Another thing that I've noticed, Dan, is I think Kelvin is a little bit back this patch. I don't know if he's like fully back, but the fights seem to go a little bit longer. I think Kelvin is actually a pretty relevant hero right now. I wonder if these top teams agree, though, or if that's just something I've been seeing in my pubs.
Yeah, I think Jason did a really nice little short. I saw HitX recently, to shout out Jason, where he was showing, I believe it was Saya, if I'm not mistaken. Was it Saya? He was basically showing some like cool tricks. It was Saya? Okay, showing some cool tricks with the Ice Path, where you can use the Ice Path to actually block off objectives completely, the mid-boss room in particular, where you can just use the Ice Path to block off the ceiling and the doorways so that people literally cannot run through it and take the fight. So interesting applications like that, or using the Ice Path to improve the spirit damage and stuff. So yeah, it does seem like there is potentially a lot of extra utility there. I don't know if you want to add anything to that, Jason, as you were the one that was talking about this.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really prevent a lot of like the auto attacks that go through. Like you can burst it down, I believe, in like 2 hits, but it's still like small little micro moves out of that. And Sai's been talking lately that Kelvin's actually like really busted because of the 90 spirit power you get on the Ice Path, that you can do some insane healing with that like Boundless that teams just really can't compete against.
Leviathan grabbing the Bebop. I like it in this draft too, because you're going up against Billy and Silver, so having this sort of brawling frontliner Bebop could be extra valuable. I will say also though, Silver gets fed, she's gonna have no problem, I would expect, sticking on Bebop, even with the uppercut. Like I don't know if that's really gonna provide the separation. They also grab a Holiday, which I think was sorely needed in this draft to find that initiator that player's gonna start the fights. And for the final pick of the draft, let's to see what they end up getting. I wonder if a Graves doesn't come in here. I actually don't mind it for Leviathan, but maybe like a Warden would be the more standard choice here. I think you kind of need a gun carry here, but I wouldn't hate to see Graves just to get the new hero in.
Sacrifice.
Give it to us.
She's coming. Oh, it's Wraith. Okay.
Wraith.
OG classic.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, can't go wrong with Wraith here. I think the long silence is pretty nice on Lady Geist. The lockdown on somebody like GT could be valuable. And then, of course, you have that blink to provide big separation if Silver does get on top of you. So pretty standard draft. Graves untouched here for now, which doesn't surprise me. And she copped a pretty big nerf with the release of Silver on that patch. Like, she lost a lot of value on the Tombstone in terms of its potential damage when it's fully statted up. And, I think the hero definitely could suffer in an organized game mode where people are really aware of the tomb and are really going to work together to deal with it. So Wraith proving to be the more standard choice. And in fairness, I feel like this is a comp for Leviathan where they needed a true hyper carry. Graves, I think, is more of a utility carry in terms of, since she offers all these different aspects to her team fighting, where Wraith is more or less pure damage in this setup. And that's kind of what you needed. You've got a bunch of frontline lockdown. Paradox can start fights. Pocket can, be highly mobile and set things up for you. But who's going to really knock them down the way a Wraith can? So I like this choice for Leviathan. I think it makes sense for the draft.
Yeah, the interesting thing with Wraith is that she's still like a hero that only comes online like late into the game, and so that's I think the general challenge when you're playing with Wraith on your team, because she does have to maintain the farm to do so. And so like there are some the tricky aspects to get to, like the tricky road to walk, I should say. And I do think Lowkey W has a really nice tempo team potentially here. It just looks really nice in terms of the frontline power between like Billy and Geist. You got the long range damage with Talon. Obviously, Holiday can like grab people and take the initiation, and Silver, obviously, if she triggers the ult, it is like adds to the front line, but also has a lot of burst damage threat too. So I feel like the tempo from Lowkey W is kind of going to be pretty nice.
Yeah, I agree quite a bit here. I think the Great Talon Bird, when it comes online, start owling those side lanes, just presenting real problems. If you try to be low HP, it's just going to be really hard to be on the map. And I think the Page is going to offer a pretty unique disruption. So when Mo sets up a combo, when Bebop hooks somebody in, you really start to think, oh, we're going to kill this guy. This is a great fight. And then I think Page could potentially, introduce a wrinkle to that kind of a strategy. But we'll have to see how it plays out in our opening match of the night here for the EU Night Shift. Lowkey W taking on Leviathan, winner to face Abrahams in the money match.
Yeah, it's looking real nice. I don't know if Jason, ZP, if you guys are there. It sounds like you guys are kind of lurking. Who do you think is going to win? Who has a better draft?
For me, as I look at Lowkey W looks pretty darn stacked so far as I can tell, especially because I do think Silver, people are not going to be playing well against it. I think anytime we've seen people get both Billy and Page, along with like Geist, who I think Geist is actually, got picked a little bit later in the draft than he should have. I think Geist should be higher priority in the draft with the balance changes that went in. So I don't know. Lowkey W is just too stacked on powerful heroes for me.
I agree.
This is surprising. I mean, I would have called Lowkey W the underdog going into this, but I feel like even that classification is almost saying too much, given that there's been big roster changes for these squads. So, I think this is anybody's game to win. Always exciting to see a fresh match after a roster shakeup. I like the logo from Lowkey W too. It's pretty stylish, pretty fresh.
Yeah, looks real nice. Looks like it was made by a human as well, which is always good. I feel like that's like this layer that we have to add to things these days. Is this human made or not?
That's why you love melee creeps. There's no, you could stack all the supercomputers you want. They'll never find a cat in a business suit. They just, it's outside of the scope of the model here. And as we get into the game, we take a look at these laning matchups. Looks like GT here in a side lane, Silver, opposite side of the map here on the Hidden King team.
Silver is annoying to try to farm with because it's like you actually can't like shoot stuff very quickly, so it's kind of difficult to farm. But the melee damage can go kind of hard.
I actually quite like the lane with Geist here because I think Geist is such a strong laner. It's a nice cover for Silver, who has pretty respectable damage and some good catch tools, but does kind of lack in the wave clearing department. And so Geist, probably one of your better wave clearers that's going to play the side lanes. Still, I think Wraith and Mo, this is a lane that also, like, once the ultimates comes online, it's very hard to play against. So I think, name of the game is really just survive as Wraith and Mo. Just keep the wave pushed out, do what you can, and get towards that double ult. Like the lockdown from combo into lift is just unholy. Like, somebody is going to die to that.
The interesting thing, though, is that Silver does have a lot of damage on a shotgun, and it's something that, if your aim is really good, then you can actually be really threatening. But I think the skill ceiling mechanically on Silver is actually pretty enormous. And I think that's like something that I think is super interesting about this hero as well.
Yeah, I feel like the skill ceiling on this character, I mean, you effectively have 6 skills, right? You know, with the ulti having its own lineup of skills. So there's a lot to worry about when it comes to, you know, like the later game team fights, getting all your skills off. Like, this is a hero, I think, with incredible potential to get, you know, massive value for some of our top players. But you can see in the waves, it is hard to kill yeah. on this hero. Like, you do not clear the waves. And yet, they're still managed to keep them shoved in against Wraith for now.
Yeah, and I'm curious like how it might affect the build as well, because you know you can get monster rounds, and again that's actually going to do a lot of damage to the troopers, but at the same time it still doesn't feel super efficient, and especially if you have guys there like you were saying, it's probably not even necessary. But yeah, because Silver can't farm neutrals as effectively, it also makes it more of a priority to be higher tempo with Silver. So that's going to be interesting to see like how she fits into the rotations and the priority around fighting or like trying to, you know, attack enemy sinners, and these types of targets will be definitely more interesting than the jungle.
Seeing a bit of contest here on the high ground boxes between these two lanes. Great talent farming it for now. There's 3 players around here. Bebop's thinking about getting into the action, but and this has been one of the hallmarks, I think, of Deadlock right now at the high level, is there's a lot of contest between lanes around the 2, 3, 4 minute marks. A lot of opportunity to roam and get active across lanes, especially for heroes like Bebop. And also a lot of boxes to be found. There's a pretty serious amount of resources here. GT potentially found a hook, is beautiful here, catches the GT. But well played here by Cosmetical, still had that flight to get out of trouble for the most part.
Yeah, I definitely do think we're going to probably most likely see that Witchmail build, which is interesting because it does turn Bebop into like kind of like a front line. And he becomes super disruptive because of how hard he is to kill, and the cooldowns are so low, but this lane's still killing it with lystic on the Silver.
Yeah, just so far they've been pretty dominant. And I will say, I mean, as long as Wraith and Mo don't die in this lane, they're going to be happy. As I say that though, Mo getting very low. Could be an opportunity for a kill here. If they want to dive the tower, this is a little bit risky though. Wraith high HP and does bring a lot of damage threat here, and Mo actually evading them for now. He had to dance through them to come into the Veil in kind of big trouble here, but getting just enough heal in the pocket roam comes in from Freemock. So a great bait from Flammable there, gets Blob to overextend. Freemock's here to punish here, has that cold front up on the pocket. And it looks like a quick DC for Empty Dreams, but honestly, your Lystic's in a bad spot here. I think he's just dead, doesn't have that boot cake available, so it's going to be very hard to avoid Pocket's nukes when those come off cooldown.
Indeed. Yeah, it looks like Empty Dreams may be doing a quick reconnection. Will be definitely a challenging game, I think, for Empty Dreams. We talked about Wraith, how she has a lot of problems where she needs to come online towards the late game. That's really what it often ends up being about. And so you kind of, that's the strategy. You got to secure the path to the late game, farm effectively. And yeah, this is a hard lane because, you know, Wraith is not very good in the laning phase as well. So like you say, it's kind of like you got to lose well on this lane. But the scary prospect is that you're against the Geist and the Silver, both of which could be extremely problematic very quickly. So that's a difficult prospect too.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, for Empty Dreams, though, finding some kills in the lane here is actually a pretty big tempo boost, right? It gets you into items like those Tesla bullets a little bit quicker, gets the capacitor online, and really ups your farm speed. So for Empty Dreams, if he's able to get out of the laning stage without really buying any green items and just full rush the gun and spirit power spikes at 4.8k, like this Wraith actually, I mean, mostly you're going to go farm, but it just lets you get to those high soul counts a lot quicker than you might otherwise expect. And as we come off the pause, Lystic in a very tough spot. You love to feed this kill to Empty Dreams, but he gets parried. Nice catch by Lystic. It's not going to get him out, but it's going to prevent that kill going towards the Wraith.
And that's really good. You know, keeping the lane a little honest by taking down Lystic, taking away from the wave. But in the meantime, really big pressure on that mid Guardian starting to come through. The Page Billy connection is always a problem. And Lystic now back on that left side lane as finally the creeps are going to crash into the Sapphire side of things.
Yeah, a lot of points in the bomb here. That uppercut sending it deep on the tower. It's going to clear the wave here. But so far, GT and Holiday have done well pushing the wave out. When those ultimates come online, though, it's going to get scary for Bebop. So Bebop probably wants to make a play before the ultimates come online. For now, though, she's going to head over to that buff, which is going to be contested. And yeah, with Billy there, you do not want to get into a melee battle with the GOAT. Billy's going to get a life buff, vitality buff, probably the best thing you could find here. So that's a great stim to Billy's game. Wraith going in now, looking for a kill. Not finding it immediately, so it's a good hide from Lystic and Blob. It's going to keep them alive for now, but hey, Wraith is starting to look pretty dominant in this side lane. The rotation from Pocket really set her on the right path.
Yeah, both Silver and Geist have to go back to base to heal up. They were so low. So instead of like pushing the tower with the resistances it would have at 530, you actually have instead like the decision to go get the boxes, go get the, you know, any farm that they can find before, you know, the wave starts coming back to them. So really trying to optimize the souls per minute here on the Leviathan side as lystic on that Silver returns to lane with Blob on the Geist.
Gotta say, I actually like putting the Mo and the Paradox here against the Billy, because Billy with life buff is just not dying to anything. But, you know, Billy and Paradox, I don't think they really are going to attempt that. They're just going to be able to play together and clear those waves out relatively quickly. Here with Empty Dreams, does have lift in this side wave. Blob is very close to that HP swap. They might want to make a play on the Geist before that comes online. But Empty Dreams actually, maybe he's dying for that one. He's still alive for now, but yeah, he kind of went in there and got clapped back immediately. Page is here to help bolster the side lane.
Yeah, that's kind of needed because this lane has been going a bit wrong, actually. Lystic's very far behind, and Billy coming in on top of things with that Vitality buff, looking to create all kinds of problems on this right side lane, and he's going to get caught by the combo, and he's getting absolutely slapped there by Mo, but there is a burrow for the escape, extra bit of damage on the exit, and Billy's still happy to stay in the mix, to melee, and this Talon is finally going to have to try to get out of here. Is there enough movement, though, to fully escape? The pursuit comes in on top of from the Abrams now as well, and finally GT Cosmetical is going to fall. And, I mean, he was out there for a long time. I respect it.
Headed to Broadway.
Yeah, man, the Billy just takes 0 damage in that whole team fight. Life buff Billy is insane at this point. And Leviathan just have to play around it. I just don't think they can ever get through the Billy. But able to kill the lane partner is nice. And even Billy isn't going to stick around in a 1v3 beatdown. Movement buff on the Silver lets her be a little bit more aggressive in terms of trying to pressure a little bit of damage on this Guardian. But that Lycan farm coming up, it's a scary hero to try to commit on now. When she gets that life, she got the healing boosters to be a great, interesting buy here. I think they're maybe going to save up for maybe that gun power spike to be a little bit more aggressive.
Yeah, looking to get the mark and get that extra bit of damage there onto the Mo. And, you know, we see a lot of lane swapping here. You know, it has been a weird start, I would say, for Lowkey W, despite, you know, seeing some early signs of success. Leviathan now, like, really putting the tempo on their opponents as we get this mid Guardian defense. But there it is, Lycan form is going to be coming on through as the chase down comes in. The Burrow doesn't want anything of the Wolf at all, just getting straight out of the fight. You have to respect Lycan Curse.
It's nice because, you know, even though, yeah, you don't get much aggressive value of the Lycan Curse, it's like, it's a 20-second cooldown, right? You're not really upset about that as Lystic. Putting some more damage onto Mo, but Pockets coming in. A combo. Could be a swap on the cards here. The combo is going to be good enough. And yeah, with the Lycan Curse down, okay, that cooldown's enough for the punish. Leviathan bring numbers to the mid lane, rewarded with 2 kills, and likely the mid Guardian as well. Although Paige is doing her best to make this defense happen. She might be able to just get it done. Yeah, the threat of the parry, you can't stick around and melee that Guardian.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's actually kind of starting to look kind of nice here for Leviathan in this, as we start to transition through the 8-minute mark onwards, where you know, we get the Sinners coming up on the map, but there's been so much in the way of scrapping that we actually have a lot of Sinners up still at this point. Oh, good catch comes on through on the Cosmetical. He's not very mobile, so he's gonna be in a lot of trouble. The Billy is gonna be over there as well. The chain gang coming on through, making life very difficult. Abrams there trying to get out also. Break on the Holiday is in hot pursuit there, and there is the slam from Billy, and Bob is dead. And this is actually maybe a dive, Jake. The fight continues.
Yeah, very deep dive onto the Billy. They think they can get him. They got that firepower support from Great Talon at the range. Dancing around for a while, but Rake dives the tower with the help of Holiday and Billy, and yeah, that one's done. Should be another Guardian going down. So we're seeing the game really start to break down here in the mid game. Still pretty even as far as souls go, so both teams just vying for that early game advantage, but nobody really able to separate themselves from the pack yet. I think this one's looking to be a pretty close one as we get toward that 10-minute mark, Dan.
Yeah, really, really close indeed. And, you know, we had our suspicions as to how this might go, but another fight here. And Mo, I mean, Fanwolf's been doing a great job of this Mo and Krill so far in this game. From that precarious lane to the skirmishes here. Great pick up there. Combo onto Vrake. That's going to delete the Holiday out of this, but in comes the Lycan Curse. You got to really be very cautious there, but there's too much, I think, to contest with, and I don't know that there's much to be done with this. Let's take trying to remaneuver around this mid bridge.
Billy with a spirit buff here, fighting this one out well, but takes too much damage. Pocket And Bebop throwing the nukes and just barely getting out of that bomb range to stay alive there. So Overseas playing it to the limit and getting out. And that's a pretty powerful skirmish victory here for Leviathan. They're low on a lot of players, though. They may want to take a quick reset. But they could look to really expand this lead if they're able to dunk the urn. This is a key moment, I think, for Lowkey W. They need to be able to contest this urn. Giving up the even urn at this phase of the game would be a very costly mistake.
I see the enemy.
And it's going to be really, really challenging here to deposit this when Billy's here in the mix. They're trying to really cause problems. Abrams is going to get a lot of damage straight on top of him. The chain gang comes on through to bring everybody back into this one. And you've got lystic there on the silver trying to remaneuver around the side of the fight there. Not in that Lycan curse just yet, so very hard to be durable. And just about pops it in time.
And get the life strike as well. So she's healing up through all of this, right? A lot of your abilities proc that life strike. That's why you went for that investment. And here comes the finishing blow for lystic. Got down to just a sliver of HP there, but clutched his way out of it. Great value with that skill. And now the contest coming in on that urn dunk location. Cosmetical extremely low. Leviathan looking for the kills, looking for the team fight here. It's an affliction just on one, forced out of the pocket. He's running out of skills, but he still gets the damage down break. Just can't find the headshot in time. Good sidesteps from Fremont. And now the urn dunk not quite coming in again quickly. They laid out the rallying charge from Page also coming in. If Mo picks this one up, he should be able to get the dunk, but he can't quite get there. Immobilized by the Page. Everyone's low HP here. Trax is down though, and things are starting to turn towards Leviathan. Lowkey W cleaned off the map, and even the urn going against them. So a massive lead opening up a beautifully executed fight by Leviathan.
Yeah, and I think, right before that fight as well, it was so interesting to see how well they're doing on the map control. They had every lane, pushed up, which I think, of course, is also always going to benefit that urn fight. But yeah, just this lane control has been really, really well done so far. And, we're talking about some of the challenges for Empty Dreams, but he's really been crushing it. 14K right now on the Souls, a massive threat in all of the fights at this point. So this could start to snowball pretty badly if Lowkey W can't find a win soon on some of these team fights and his objectives.
Yeah, it's looking scary, right? I think Paradox, this is going to be a big buy duration and Warpstone for Mo. So Flammable is going to be an absolute menace showing up to the team fights right now. It's like just a hero where you don't really have a way to deal with it. Lasso and Rallying Charge are your only stuns. So if one of those heroes isn't right around or doesn't have their ultimates, it's going to be an essentially free combo kill. And with Warpstone too, it's very hard to not get caught by Mo. So I think this is actually a pretty scary moment in the game for Lowkey W. You've got to stay in the farming. You got to try and get these comeback souls, contest some objectives. But at the same time, you're showing up to any kind of a fight here is a huge risk in terms of just getting popped by the Leviathan gang squads.
Oh my god, Billy's getting really focused right now. sharyk is going to fall off of that one into some form of safety. And, I feel, Jake, there are some challenges, for how behind lystic is on Silver. As we mentioned previously, I think Silver can perform from less farm because of the nature of the ult. However, it's very hard to make up any kind of a deficit on farm because, your ability to kill these neutral camps, the jungle is muted compared to a lot of other characters. So that does create a bit of a limitation on catch-up. You need your team to be active in fights so you can get some of those kill participations.
Yeah, I agree. I think this hero is a very weak farmer and kind of wants to snowball the game. Given her very low fire rate, it's just hard for you to clear jungle camps. You don't have the best tools to do that in terms of your skills or items. So it's a nice kill for Lowkey W to find, right? A lasso under the tower gets one, and maybe they're able to find a second in the pocket. A quick two-piece. Exactly what you needed to get back in the game, but now here comes the combo onto Billy. Reactive barrier, keeping him healthy for now. Another barrier from the Page, and Billy somehow surviving through this one. So an attempt for the counter kill from Leviathan, and it gets clapped back. Lowkey W for now staying alive, but there's still a Warpstone Mo hanging around here looking to present some problems.
Here comes that Silver in on top of the action there, just turning the tables here on the Mo. This was a brilliant sequence. Absolutely brilliant sequence from Lowkey W. Just like you said, the save on Billy, I have no idea how sharyk actually survived that. Truly should have died, and they turned it into a very positive team fight, which does close the difference by about 11,000 souls, which makes the difference not negligible, but it's now turned into a slight advantage as to a more sizable one. And now with the urn coming up here, Jake, this could be a good moment for Lowkey W, who have position on it, to grab it and maybe get some more good team fights coming their way.
You'd love to get to control, but it won't be for free. Bob here, looking to find something. It's a favorite urn for Lowkey W, so it's one that would be huge if they're able to pick it up. Slowing Hex deployed, but trying to get on top of that silver. Abrams misses the charge for now, but sticking around in the close range, and it's getting a little scary for GT. You do not want to get into any kind of a brawl with an Abrams. Oh, and a beautiful parry. Great read from the GT, and that actually might get the earn pickup. Bebop's lasering doing what he can. Meanwhile, Empty Dreams splits the Sidewalker on the other side of the map, so extracting a price. In the end, you get the earn pickup, and it is favored, but you're coming into a contested location, and even this fight might not be for free.
So, Free Market on the pocket, looking to try to find a good engagement. Ooh, nice isolation onto the Billy to charge straight into the corridor, but you still have a Lowkey W that's not too interested in this fight. But with that said, you know, Lycan Curse is going to be coming on through, and you're very tanky on that. I don't think you want to take this very lightly, but they get a huge hook, and there is nothing you can do with it, even in the Lycan Curse there. That's insane. That's massive.
And that's going to be the other Sidewalker down. Midwalker also took a 10 damage. Guided Owl going to fly in and maybe try to clear a wave on this side lane, but will it be enough to actually make the hold? There's a lot of players here. It's a big nuke, clears a lot of the wave. And Billy's coming in, so they'd love to be able to find some punishing kills. sharyk, this is a crucial moment in the game. You need to find some counter kills to equalize this one. It's slipping out of hand. You're desperate now, hunting, chasing, trying to find anything. Risky melees going in. This time it gets parried. Mo reads the follow-up. Drake, though, ends up finding both of the kills. So huge pickups for the Holiday. Opens up a 3 streak and gets an actual punish while saving the Walker. So Lowkey W sticking into this game by the skin of their teeth.
Crazy. I mean, it's so hard to predict how this should go. But, you know, hold that thought for the moment. We get the engagements continuing on through, the knockdown coming in to slow things down. The escape here from Leviathan behind this Guardian might not look all that good because the pursuit's going deep beyond the Guardian now. That the Guardian is going to go down as well. Another guided owl. The Intercontinental Ballistic Bird Missile. What is it going to find? Maybe just some wave clear. Looking to find the pocket. Oh, it can't quite get there,
just
though.
A little off. That actually could have been a kill, man. I think Pocket's going to be lucky to escape with that one. Cosmetical. Just a little bit off on the suitcase timing there, or rather the cape teleport timing from Freemock. So it's a kill you would have loved to have. But meanwhile, that great fight defending the Walker has pretty much equalized the soul advantage. So Lowkey W is now right back in the thick of things. That being said, Mo with his combo could be a problem, but Billy is a very tough killer. You're gonna combo him, but look, reactive barrier. He's got the page coming in behind him. The lift follow-up, though, is good. And there's monster damage now pouring into the Billy. He's gonna need to find some melees. I expect to be able to live this one. No, he just has the stamina. Dash jump out, and he's good.
Oh, you know, that's the opportunity you get, is to catch the Billy, but it's like the only unkillable person on the team, basically, with the help of Page getting away again. We've seen that a couple times now. Really interesting game here. It seems like it's turning, but that's a swap indeed, and that's going to hopefully for them participate in a kill. And Page is going to be finished off there by Freemock.
Both these surviving Walkers for Lowkey W are on just a sliver of HP. You cannot afford to lose control of this part of the map for even a moment, or your Walker will be instantly bursted. You have to keep those waves out and keep the backdoor on. But Leviathan are going to make the high elo play here. Go for the force mid-boss with only 1 kill. It is the Page, though. That's a key disruptor when it comes to mid-boss, but it looks like a fake. They're roaring the mid-boss now, looking for the fight. Lowkey W have no choice but to check this one out, trying to get the contest. Now they know there's no attempted mid-boss finish. It's turning into the fight. Lasso goes wide. And without Drake's Lasso, are you going to be able to fight this one out? Leviathan still relatively healthy.
Yeah, they're looking pretty good here, Leviathan, in this fight. We are equal on the souls right now. Huge fight in middle. If I can
looks okay,
on
but
through.
It's turning terrible. They're losing everyone. Everyone's full backing now. The faked roar mid-boss, and now mid-boss at half? This could just be a quick finish for Lowkey W, and they could be taking the lead here, Dan.
Yeah, is there a decision to go in for this Leviathan? Are they going to let this go for 3? I don't think that they can afford to do so. You know, usually you want to try to at least steal these, even if you end up dying. It might be better to steal, and indeed the drop comes on through there from Leviathan for the challenge as the Reju Crystal falls from the heavens above. Who's going to be able to pick this one up? The parry's now onto the crystal, and now the melee surely coming on through. Everybody gets stunned by the parry there, but it's going to be every single one for Lowkey W as they walk away behind maybe 5 to 10 minutes ago, but now in a decisive edge here for their victory.
Oh man, in just a few minutes, the game has turned completely on its head. Lowkey W were down, what, 15k souls at like the 10-minute mark? I mean, this game looked almost over. And then one botched mid-boss fake here. You come in, you look for the fight, and you just can't get anything done. Leviathan get kited out and punished. And now with a full triple rejuve, an earn to be taken, and a ton of map control. I mean, Lowkey W are flying high. Still Not over yet. They have a small advantage right now, but with the walkers on low HP, this could very easily swing back towards Leviathan. So if Leviathan can find these catches, I do believe they have a very good chance in this game. But it's starting to get scary. The team fights are starting to tilt against them.
Yeah, and I think, of course, you know, it's always a threat to have the Wraith, but lystic on Lycan, it really starts to get crazier and crazier once you get, you know, more items for that Lycan form, and you maybe get to the vampiric later on, and it just really does become completely unkillable. And so, you know, there is a counterbalance potentially to Empty Dreams, so it is still doable, and the urn is going to be ferried across the map by Lowkey W. Puts the pressure on here as the catches look to be had onto the Billy once again, but this is the battle between combo and rescue beam.
What is that? The combo pulls him back in, but it did enough still pulling him out of that combo, so there wasn't the follow-up damage. Lowkey W, they want this fight. They want the punish. Their walker's taking a bit of damage from the creeps, but they're not going to sweat that. They're going to look for these kills. Choosing Mo to chase, though, may have been a mistake, so it's a good move by Flammable to bait himself just a little bit. The lasso brings him back in, though, and as I say that, even Mo can't withstand this level of pressure. Lycan Curse pop, you almost rather it didn't pop here, more lystic, but at least play the map a little bit with the curse.
I do love that mechanic where you kind of can't control it, you know, like it is very true to the lore in that respect of a werewolf. So, oh my god,
form!
Done.
Worst case scenario, this is going to be one crystal down and maybe a second death. I mean, this is an abysmal position. Beautiful hook from Overseas. The owl comes in, the stun is good enough, but the swap back towards the walker. Surely you're in huge trouble. Lystic is down, and Bebop lasering to defend the wave. So Overseas gets a Rejuve crystal down, takes out one of the key characters for Lowkey W. Meanwhile, though, pressure on the other side of the map is going to yield a walker for Lowkey W, opening up one of those crucial item slots.
Yeah, that is just so massive and so such perfect timing. But there we get the chase on Depay. She should go down here as well.
Maybe twice.
Okay.
Free lift.
We get a follow-up. Yeah, telekinesis online, and that should be good enough to seal the deal on this one. There we go, another execution as Lowkey W lose 2 players, and still a crystal though to go for them, but a 6k difference in Leviathan. I think despite losing the mid fight and everything else that they've lost over the last 5 minutes, it's not looking or feeling, I think right now, as bad.
Yeah, Leviathan have played incredibly well against these regions, and they're looking to continue that streak. Remember, Paige is still down. Mo gonna look to interrupt somebody, trying to contest this waves. Here's the combo onto Lystic, denying that Lycan form, bursting her down. She does not able to get into that form. Remember, the walker, the damage they put in here, it's already incredibly low. The wave coming into crash. This could be another walker dropping. Lowkey W are the ones with the rejuve, but it doesn't feel that way at all, Dan.
No, it certainly doesn't, and with all the pressure on this Walker, it looks absolutely to be going the way of Leviathan as the defense is going to be attempted here. But again, Walker very, very low at this point. Freemok running around here in the pocket, causing a lot of problems. Good burst damage. Drake, though, able to isolate the Paradox, takes him down, and that is going to definitely cause some problems.
Mo is in a very bad spot here. It's going to get the assist in. You're trying to get this kill without using lasso. A little bit greedy, but I like the hold here. So Drake is going to be able to continue to snowball and get active. Wraith going to be very happy, though, just to get out of that fight. They claim the walker, and Wraith lives. So crucial for Leviathan. You know, losing the Mo on the exit, it doesn't feel great, but Empty Dreams' game is what you really want to watch right now. It feels like Freemok and Empty Dreams are really the late-game heroes that are going to be able to, you know, decide really the result of this game as we go deeper. Leviathan invested heavily in the early game, and it paid off to an extent, but given that the game's even right now, relatively so, you'd almost rather be Lowkey W and a lasso deep onto Overseas. His turn to get pulled out of position.
The knockdown affliction, everything, and he's deleted. Freemok also gets deleted. And with that, Lowkey W in a key position, 5k ahead, maybe not too notable, but those kills are going to open up the map significantly. Big wave control at the moment from Lowkey W. If you look at every lane, they're all very pushed, which does force Leviathan to have to go and clear some of these side lanes to start pushing things back in their favor. And there's a lot of farm on the map at this point as well. But the urn is coming up in 30 seconds, as are the bridge buffs. And this is where the next team fights could start to happen. But yeah, certainly a really good look here for Lowkey W right now.
Yeah, mid-boss also just a couple minutes away. You know, you get into an extended urn fight, and it could turn out that the mid-boss is the real prize. So the game, edge of a knife right now. Leviathan 2, waiting on the respawn. Once that Bebop and Pocket get back up, I think this is a key moment. Lowkey W, though, they've got all the ults they could want. I mean, Lasso coming off cooldown last, but it should be up very, very soon. And they're looking to go for a cheeky gank on this sideway, but no one's coming to defend it. So it's actually a nice read from Lowkey W. No one's greed farming this. Abrams gonna push this out. Let's see if he fake backs here, because I think Mo wants to look for a kill on somebody coming to clear that way, but it might be too hard against the base Guardians.
Okay, so the end gets collected, and that is going to be Paige running that one there for Lowkey W. But this Walker in mid is under threat as well for Lowkey W, so they've got to be quite cautious. It's already below half. Big clearance across the entire map here from Leviathan. Are they really in position to stop the urn, though?
Bird coming in. This could assist in a catch. Great movement there down in the lowers, but even Cosmetical can't keep that one stable. They got some lockdowns here onto the Mo, and Flammable is down, doesn't get the combo off. Punished heavily here in the mid lane. And do you really want to look for this fight on Leviathan down your Mo? I mean, that's a pretty painful ult to be missing in the fight, and you could just be giving up a free urn dunk, although you're going very far past the wave. So it's a little bit scary for Lowkey W. You can see Billy's not too eager to just full send this, and Wraith grabs the mid walker in exchange. You really need to be able to get this dunk, and I think they will get it uncontested. They had to bring all 6 players to accomplish this, though. So even though it looks free, it's actually relatively expensive to bring this many players for the fight.
And mid boss is coming up momentarily as well, so you have to be really, really careful right now if you're Leviathan. You don't give away any of the kills. There it is. Mid boss is up, and this is now the big objective to play for.
By the way, WFKR Deadlock dropping $50 in the prize pool. Huge shout out.
Hell yeah.
You know, as we said before in the top of the show, but if you're just joining us, we put up some money every week for the prize pool out of our pockets. But of course, the community can come in, do that exclamation point donate. All of that goes directly to the prize pool. We don't touch that. If you want to support our stream, you can join us on whether it's Patreon, Twitch subs, all of that does support us. Keeps our show running. But as we look at this game right now, a 10K advantage for Lowkey W is real. But honestly, I think this comes down to teamfight execution. Like this kind of a lead, I don't know that it makes a meaningful difference. Leviathan has the tools they need to win the team fight, but it does feel like if you get, something like the Billy ult off, like Pocket's game is so hard, Wraith's game is so hard. I do think Lowkey W does have an edge if they're able to get that fair 6-on-6.
Yeah, it's a good point. And earlier in the game we talked about Wraith, what she's playing for. It is that like 40k power spike area, and that's almost where we are with Empty Dreams right now. So this could start to get really interesting as we see Overseas, of course, looking for a potential hook opportunity. Doesn't see it though, and you might go for the mid boss bait. We might get the force scream. That is a potential there to try to force a fight, because Leviathan have to respect it. If the mid boss screams, they have to respect it.
I think they're on it. Or maybe not. They were in the pit there for a second, or maybe they were just playing on top of the mid. So even Lowkey W doesn't. I mean, that's what Leviathan tried last time, right? Forcing the mid boss, but they ended up so out of position that the fight went terribly against them when they got off and looked for the re-engage. So neither team wants to make that mistake. Remember, this is a best of one, right? There's, you could say it's unlucky all you want, but the results of this match will determine if you get the chance to go up against our EU champ in our money match best of 3 coming up next. So neither Leviathan nor Lowkey W want to make the mistake. Rallying charge deployed from Paige. Wait, hold on. Drax? Hello? Maybe thought he could catch a Mo, but got juked out, I guess. And Mo has unstoppable. Okay. He wants to get this combo off, and honestly, you need it this game. I mean, now that the knockdowns are up on Paige, like you've got Bird from Cosmetical, maybe you just need that to play. Beautiful counterspell, blocks the lasso. Great by Rig. Stays alive because of that. Almost certainly would have been dead to rights, and now very deep are Lowkey W. Are they going to get caught in a dangerous spot here? Unstoppable combo deployed here. Bump Band Flammable. He's down for it, but is that Lycan Curse going to proc? Lystic, does he just get it off in time? He hasn't been able to proc it just yet. He needs that heal desperately. He's juking and driving a few seconds on the CD and gets saved by the rescue beam. Here comes the Lycan Curse now. The counterpunch from Lowkey W could be epic. Is Billy able to find and lock anybody down? Rake was going for it, but the follow-up wasn't quite there. So as the dust settles, both teams drop one. I don't know that either are going to be able to claim the mid-boss.
And you got to give credit to Leviathan as well. They're managing these team fights really well. You do not want to engage when the Lycans online. And they've effectively dispersed the fight. They've prevented Lowkey W from pushing forwards. They've reclaimed some control into mid, and it looks like they might make the mid boss scream. Are they going to actually go for this? Everybody except Frake is up for Lowkey W. They, I think, are certainly going to be coming in on top of this one. Will it go down quickly enough? They're right next door here, Jake. They're absolutely coming in for this.
All right, let's see. They force the scream again. This time they're playing it a little bit more cautiously in the pit. Damage deployed onto the guys. They've already killed off Trax, though, in this fight, and Mo's coming back in quick. Wraith starting to pump that damage. Great Talon does not want to be the target of it. Dispel magic used. Is that arrow going to connect? It's so crucial, but he gets hooked instead, looking for the arrow. He's got the counter spells, though, to stay alive for now. The barriers are good, and Lystic starting to get active into this fight. Empty Dreams takes down sharyk. Half HP, though, on this Wraith. Needs to keep dealing damage. His team needs him in this fight. Blob has used that HP swap in the pit. Lycan Curse is down. It's anybody's fight here in the pit. Combo onto the guys. Is it going to be enough? The parries are good. They keep players alive for now. But you need Empty Dreams back into this fight, and he's off at the bridge buff. And so it looks like it's going to be Lowkey W cleaning this one up. But will there be enough damage to take the mid boss? I mean, this is turning expensive. Paradox isn't going down easily.
But Paradox will eventually fall, and that's going to just leave Empty Dreams. Empty Dreams can't risk going down here as well. He's going to have to clean up that right side lane and just concede what is going to be a full triple crystal rejuve reward for Lowkey W post that fight. And that was a really intense fight. Like, that certainly could have gone different ways for sure. So many like weird dynamic kind of changes in terms of, like, you know, sending the fight underground. Like, that's always makes things very interesting, and how you can isolate players, how you can gang up on players. And Lowkey W used that change of position really effectively. They're going to get the earn behind this as well. Max value is what they're going for here to get a big lead. There's a lot of farm on the map as well. If they want to jungle, they can. They have the time to do it, and there's not really all that much that Leviathan can do to really stop them at this point.
Yeah, after this fight, I'm definitely getting worried now for Leviathan. The early game lead they had is a long forgotten memory at this point. You've got Walker advantage, but how much does that really matter if you can't win a team fight? It's been like 4 or 5 in a row now for Lowkey W. Feels like their comp has really come online. A Talonbird here just clears mid wave, you know, presents a bit of an annoyance in terms of, you know, keeping those waves out for the Wraith, gives her more to do. She builds now into Leech and Spellbreaker, so emphasizing that tankiness, the sustainability. I mean, I think we felt that in the last fight, right? She got kind of bullied out of the fight and just wasn't really able to come back into it.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I mean, Empty Dreams wasn't able to have that key impact at the beginning of the fight. Looks for that kill against Great Talon, but quickly understood that the ranges were not going to give that, and the burst damage from GT was just too scary to deal with. So it's like, then your biggest carry is not able to do what is needed to be done at the right stage of the fight. And there's so many things going on in these team fights.
I will say Wraith, when we get to like the ultra late game, Wraith is going to be a huge damage dealer. But I mean, this mid walker, full HP to 0 in just a few seconds, and Abrams is out a little bit deep on the side lane. I mean, curse and extended duration on Vrake. If this Holiday gets her hands on you, you are just done for. And I think they're going to defend this walker too. I think we're going to see a big blowout bash here. I mean, this is the last walker standing. You get that walker buff for defending this one. So even with the Rejuve crystals, there's a bit of an advantage here for the defenders. If Vrake can find a catch, though, that could really turn things on its head. You really need all of your players alive to make this team fight happen.
Vrake looking for that lasso, the key lasso that can make all the difference. Lycan form there to now just absolutely burst it, but where is that coming from? Bo just getting the combo onto Vrake here, unable to get any counterspell off, just has to try to jump around this one. There's the B-block, gets lassoed out of the hyper beam, brought into the fight there, into the mosh pit, and it is just problems here. Vrake gets absolutely destroyed there by the burst damage coming on through, and Lowkey W walking all over this one.
Yeah, I mean, you lose one player, one Rejuve crystal in exchange for, you know, killing Abrams and now taking the walker. So it's a well-executed fight from Leviathan. They come in, cut off that backline position, flanking around behind the walker. And the help of that Lycan form, man, it almost looks nice for Lowkey W. You force it out early, but then lystic just sends it on you, and he's built so tanky now, like recognizing, yeah, I've been bursted down a couple of times in this game. The enemy is aware and trying to deny me the Lycan form. But I mean, with the resilience, the spirit resilience he's got, with the berserker, there's a real counterpunch from this Lycan when it comes out.
Wow. Very difficult situation to deal with. But not unrecoverable. You know, 30k difference. We've seen it done before. I think, you know, ultimately, I feel like, you know, Vrake has been really, really good in this game, playing the Holiday role very, very well. It's very tricky. Looking for the initiation. You can do a lot with the movement on the Holiday as well. You're also a pretty huge target to get locks down, as we saw.
Headed to green.
And the bridge buffs are coming up.
Billy's such a problem in this game. He's invested a lot into his defensiveness. He's got that queued up plated armor. So it's going to be really hard for Wraith to really do that much damage. And honestly, I think Billy's a key part of this game, right? Like, you get chained by Billy, you can't use your movement skills, which means no charge from Abrams. Pocket gets completely nullified. I mean, it's very hard for him to play when he's not able to leverage his movement with the cape. Even Wraith, right? You get linked, you could easily just get bursted down and killed, even for all the damage you can deal. It doesn't mean much when you're just locked down and deleted. So Lowkey W, they're feeling he's playing with the house cash here. It's been a while since they've lost a team fight. It's really, I think they need to make a mistake for Leviathan to get back in the game. Overseas Rayek, they need to find some of these big pickoffs that really tilt things in their favor. But a favored urn contest might be a bridge too far for Lowkey W. I mean, 30k lead is something, but coming into enemy territory like that, very difficult thing to execute. We'll see if they end up going for it.
All right, well, all players in mid for Leviathan. And now Lowkey W bringing their attention to this as well. There's a combo that we can hear in the distance. Now there's the initiation, instant chain gang as well to try to lock down those players, just like you described. Is it going to be worth it? Is there going to be any conversion here? The swap comes on through, but he's getting absolutely hammered right now. He is so tanky, but that just goes to show how much damage is being pumped straight into that.
He's still alive. He's still alive. Okay, the parry, that's what it takes to shut it down. Even with the full power of MTG, it took a long time to get that kill, but Leviathan go for the gamble, that unstoppable combo onto Trax. You take out that page first, and suddenly the team fight just falls apart, right? You know, this is this key hero that saves players, that turns around the team fight with the rallying charge, but she's always going to be vulnerable to a gank like that, and props to Flammable recognizing he's finding his target in this fight, just preventing Trax from playing the game. I think that's the only way you're winning the team fight, and yet they managed to find it. That brings Leviathan pretty much back to neutral in the soul advantage when it comes, like, when these respawns end. I expect the souls to be very tightly matched.
We get Curse collected there as well by Ray on the Paradox. That's always nice. Ooh, Abrams, look at the damage. Oh my, the GT is strong.
He's burning him too. I mean, surely it's Abrams, so he's tanky enough to get out of there. Also has a Spellbreaker. A lot of investment in the spell resistance in this game from both sides. I mean, I think this meta right now, there's a pretty high prio on being able to thread cells. And a big bird. They scouts the mid boss, so you know it's happening. However, will you be able to do anything about it? It's a really prime time for the mid boss to spawn for Leviathan. Wraith's damage monstrous here, able to drop these crystals early, and you've got Paige with the rallying charge. You've got to go for this contest on Lowkey W.
Jumping on through, and there is a quick combo. And there's two crystals.
Charge. Okay, it gets one crystal back. That's something, but now it comes down to the fight. You've got to be able to take these crystals away. Break with the lasso onto one. Are you able to kill out Empty Dreams? There's only one crystal left. Empty Dreams super low, but he's starting to lifesteal back up with the leech. Has maybe played his way out of this one. Last crystal down for Lowkey W. They're all playing with their real lives now. Bebop, uh-oh, he's a tanky brawler here, even against Geist. Isn't necessarily a free fight, but Empty Dreams without a crystal goes down because Flammable died first. That's a lot of the damage in this team fight. Now it's time for the Lycan to play. Silver, big stacks now on the ultimate, starting to chomp and crash through them. Lowkey W, 5 players still alive, and Leviathan, some after a great mid-boss contest, come out with only a few players still alive, headed back to the base.
Yeah, that's like such an ideal place for the Lycanthorn to really just ruin people in the close ranges. It's extra dangerous, and we are pretty much tied up again, like neck and neck.
What a game
in this game so far now, and these two teams, it's definitely hard to separate them, and we're starting to really talk about the super late game now, where, you know, we see the late game potential, the scaling, you know, how that works. We know the Wraith is a late game god, but from your estimation, Jake,
this creep giving lystic a little bit of trouble, going for that max efficiency, walks away a little early a couple times. But yeah, I do think, in theory, I would imagine. Actually, all right, so I would say late game, I feel like Lowkey W have way better scaling. But ultra late game, we're talking like when Bebop gets full build, this hero, I think, becomes a very serious threat in the ultra late game. Like, once he gets the full Witchmail, infinite tankiness strat, and just starts bombing, I mean, those bombs hurt like crazy, and Debuff Remover no longer really counters them. You kind of need Counterspell to be able to block that damage, and I actually think some of these heroes, like, you know, Abrams ultra late also becomes a huge problem. Like Phantom Strike catching people, he gets incredible tankiness. Like the heroes that really, I mean, what are the heroes that really fall off in the ultra late game? I feel like the thing about Deadlock is almost anybody can still be a key factor depending on how they're able to play the fights. But playing around Mo is going to be a problem since he invested in that unstoppable so early. It's really hard to not just lose a player at the start of the team fight, you know, and it's hard to argue with value like that.
I actually think the Silver might in the ultra late be one of the decisive factor, because
that's
I think
true.
Lycanthorn is insane at that.
Just like the unkillability, right, of your cores. With
exactly.
Silver and Geist, they're just gonna run at you, and like, what are you gonna do about that? How are you gonna be able to actually turn and burn them? Maybe Wraith, but I think Wraith actually may need to go a little greedy with damage, which then makes her a very vulnerable target to lock down from the opposite side. I think she might need, I don't know what it is even on Wraith that goes for max damage. I guess you could build Boundless here instead of a tank item. I'm curious to see if Wraith, I mean, Wraith is the standard bearer really for Leviathan. I mean, I will also say Pocket, once you get like ultra full build on Pocket, you know, you get like the Spirit Burn and just everything. Like Affliction just destroys people. Yes, Divine Barrier can counter it, but if you hit a huge Affliction, I feel like it almost doesn't matter what's going on in the game. You hit a 4 or 5 man Affliction, and it's like there's just too many players who aren't going to be able to fight in the team fight, and the game's going to get really awkward for you. Hold on, here's a catch. Fight. Unstoppable from the Mo. The lockdown is good, but it's not enough to find Rake, and Mo gets cut down. Tried to get greedy, going for that one, but the team was ready. Abrams coming in for the counter pin. They're going to go for everything here. Committing full into this fight. Affliction is good. Hits onto the Geist and maybe some more. But Geist is life stealing up through it. Big connection. A second Affliction from the Pocket. Now on more players. There could be a real chase down here from Overseas and Empty Dreams. You got very mobile carries here looking to clean up a lot of afflicted opponents. And they're recognizing it. They're just trying to back out on Lowkey W. Take their kill and go home. Double Affliction from Freemock, man. That is going to be scary to play against.
Okay, well, everyone disperses from the fight. The Urn is still up on the spot, and this game is getting into a very weird space where, for both teams, it's really, really hard to engage and actually get that decisive advantage. So we just like have this like interesting stalemate so far. But usually the mid boss is a good way to decide that and to break that stalemate. But the Urn here is going to be picked up by Billy, so surely that operates as a bait. Actually,
he gets dropped. Zip knocked. The Zip knock drops the Urn there. Oh, what a hook on a page! It's a dream target. Divine Barrier used, and the Phantom Strike is not able to pull Page back in, so Track's able to get off the roof and stay alive. That one, way too close for comfort for Lowkey W.
And they grabbed the Urn again, but they're surely gonna have to drop that one. Another big hook attempt from the rooftops there from Overseas.
Okay, so he's not going the Spirit build, the Brawling build. I mean, he does have incredible tankiness, but he's also going gun scaling. Interesting choice here. Maybe it just feels like they need that direct single target damage. That Wraith doing it alone is a little bit too much to ask.
Mid boss up again. Urn is looking like it can be turned in here.
And Silver's taking wait, Silver's getting Berserker stacks from the Urn. This is kind of sick, actually.
Oh, that's actually next level.
Like, I don't know if that's like why they're doing this, but 10 stacks Berserker at the start of the fight is pretty potent.
That's actually next level. I haven't thought about that before, but there we go. Deadlock, a lot of interesting interactions. Speaking of which, Billy coming in on top of the Abrams here as both teams try to fight around the rooftops there. Multi-level fight. Can make things a little bit messy.
That could be, this is brutal. Lowkey W, you know, this is all Lowkey W now. Leviathan, without the Wraith, surely they can't fight this one. Mo just trying to desperately get out of this one with the teleport. Silver's going to be right behind him, though, teleporting with him. I think Mo should be able to get out of this just because it's Mo. he's just a little guy burrowing away, but hold on. He's taking a path, or oh, he's getting interrupted now. Chasing into this unstoppable pop now from Silver, but she's out of the Lycan Curse. That's a lot of her damage down. Here's the unstop combo onto Billy, but the melee damage is good enough. There's no follow-up without the Wraith. And Lowkey W find themselves a 2-player advantage with mid-boss available. Waves crashing against them on the side lanes. They're losing base Guardians for this, but the mid-boss is just too valuable to ignore.
Yeah, and oh my god, actually both lanes here, they're going to ignore the mid-boss, and it's going to be Leviathan looking to assist the base assault there against Lowkey W to see if they can maybe try to target down some shrines here potentially. They got a 2v1 there.
Cosmetical's dead in the base, right? Surely, on just a shred of HP. Goes down, and are you gonna be able to get, if you're able to get both shrines here, this is actually a massive prize. When you're able to take both shrines right now in Deadlock after the update, you spawn effectively super creeps. So the rest of the game, the waves are gonna be pushing in your favor, which is a massive prize, although triple rejuve is a very costly thing to give up. As I say that though, hold on, where'd the last rejuve go? It's not being baited, surely I think somebody lost a rejuve here. Kill comes in on the Pocket. Abrams can't play his way out of this one. Blob gets the kill, and second shrine does go down. Paradox escapes with their life, so despite the rejuves, I feel like this game is very close to even.
I don't think I've seen this trade before.
No.
I don't think I've seen this situation in one of the games here. We've done so many broadcasts, but it's the first time for that. And the Urn is going to be picked up now by Leviathan. Obviously, giving up the rejuve, trying to steal away both those shrines, which they're successful in doing. It does put a lot of pressure on Lowkey W. They must find value, but this Urn is going to get cut off here. This is not safe at all. Okay, yeah, they have to go through the base audience first, so they are
holding the base here. But I mean, without that kill in Cosmetical is actually huge, because in really you only have one player advantage. The 2 crystals mean, yeah, you're playing a little bit with the house cash, so you're able to gamble a little bit. And I feel like Rake, if he does find a lasso, any of these living players in Leviathan are going to be pretty scared. But you got hook, swap, combo, lift. I mean, these are very powerful heroes at finding one secured pickoff when it comes to that base defense. Ooh, like if that hook connects on Holiday, you could just be done.
This is interesting. So we will get the shrines here under assault, but remember the shrines on the other side of the map here, Lowkey W, they lost their shrines as well. So just looking to equalize here off the back of the rejuve strength. Still have both crystals alive. They pick up the shrines.
They need the drop right now. 10 seconds for the spawners, but that patron dies fast. This is in the late game. Damage is huge. Bebop trying to get in and put that defense on, but he's not able to find it. Now the team fight begins. sharyk rips it in now. With that Billy ult, here comes the rallying charge, and Wraith is down! After the patron drop, you have to make the hold now. 5v6, but the players are dropping. lystic into the wolf form now, fighting in the pit. You just can't back off a single more time. Leviathan down to their last 2 players in that defender resistance. Bebop being focused down. The players to be killed. Big affliction from Fremont, but surely it won't be enough. He's the last man standing, and even he drops. So Lowkey W, from a huge soul deficit in the early game, brawl their way back into an incredibly close nail-biter of a match to earn their place in the money match. I think that's the best challenger match we may have ever seen here on the Night Shift, Dan.
Yeah, that was incredible stuff there from both sides. Just the way that the tables turned repeatedly in this game. Absolute cinema. Lowkey W absolutely deserving this win. A second time that they're able to take down Leviathan in recent memory in the last week or so now. And you've got to credit the addition of lystic and sharyk into this lineup, and it only hypes me up, at least. I hope everybody else too, of what the quality of Deadlock we might now see in the money match here in the EU portion of the show.
I will say, if you're just joining us, man, Abrahams are a brutally tough foe. It's, you know, in the past, they've been on a different level from our other competitors here in EU, which is incredibly, you know, wild that they're able to maintain that top form. But it's been a while since they've had a new opponent. For a long time, it's been Leviathan earning that spot to contend against them. They've been losing for the most part on Leviathan. They haven't been able to get that win, but now a new challenger approaches. Some old foes, lystic and sharyk. These are players who have beaten Abrahams in the past. They've been able to earn that win before. Cosmetical as well coming into this lineup. There's a lot of potential here in this draft, and they just made a crazy comeback. They're going to be feeling very good about this coming into the money match. I can't wait for the next one, Dan.
Crazy game. Really interesting. We got to see some silver. Yeah, we didn't see Graves, but, you know, I'm sure we're going to see Graves later on today. But really cool to see, you know, Silver, because, you know, Silver definitely has received a lot of love from the community in general. Great hero to play, but we had all of the echoes from the pro scene that were saying, hey, this character is definitely OP, and we saw the struggles though. You know, like in a close game like this, we saw the struggle for lystic to actually farm. We saw that weakness play out. We saw how carefully you have to choose fights and how squishy you can be, how easily locked down you can be. But we also saw the respect coming in from Leviathan. When the Lycan curse was up, they were out of the fight. They were trying to deny the value there. So, you know, at this early stage, you know, Jake, teams already understanding somewhat intuitively how to play against Silver. But in that ultra late game, we saw how ridiculous it can be.
I love this build from lystic too. This is like great advice for a lot of players who are checking out Silver for the first time themselves. He actually went very, very tanky. Had a few definitely gun and item investments, but had way more green investment than gun. Pretty significantly was valuing the tankiness, the frontliner potential. Like, look at this late game build. I mean, he's got what, like about 10K invested in gun. The vast majority of this build is into the green items, making him tanky, making him hard to kill, ensuring that he gets that value off. And it gets them the W here. Lowkey W pick up the win, and that was a hard-fought match. I mean, they were going blow for blow throughout. So that one is going to be a draining one. We're going to give our players a bit of a break before we go into that next match. But man, I mean, I wonder how Abrahams are thinking coming up against this new opponent, a team that has kind of formed together from previous squads that we've seen in the tournament, but maybe a new beast, a different animal than we've seen in the past. Yeah,
I mean, Deadlock, we're constantly reinventing things everywhere, and shout outs to Chrisanax. Thanks for the tip. I can't say your name, man. I'm sorry, bro. I try my best. We do what we can here.
Chrisana 14 from Final Fantasy 14. This person's tipped
Chrisana.
3 weeks in a row. I think quite a bit of money. So put some respect on that name, DDK.
I apologize. Thank you. We appreciate you and your support of the show. And we got some numbers here, Jake. Cosmetical with the big hit in GT. Not a surprise.
Yeah, big damage from Great Town in this game. That is a little bit of a surprise to me how much damage it was, right? Like, this is a crazy level of damage. And he was even able to get out of some sticky situations despite being so invested in the nuking. So pretty well played by Cosmetical. Great to see that on the GT kind of coming back into favor. lystic also, though, I mean, considering how tanky he invested in this build and how much he was initiating fights, took a lot of those deaths, I think, in the early game. But we went late game. It feels like he was coming out top dog at the end of a lot of those fights. So I wonder if this is going to affect how, you know, a team like Abrahams looks at the draft, considering heroes like Silver coming into the game. Wonder if we'll see a little bit more Rem and Graves as the day progresses with some of our other teams, see what they value. I mean, Abrahams last week was playing a lot of Rem, was really getting a lot of value out of some of the unique skill set that new character provides here in Deadlock. But some impressive stats all around. You also got to show some love to Leviathan, even in the defeat. I mean, tons of kill activity from Mo, monstrous player damage from Fremont on the pocket. Also, I really want to shout out Ray on the Paradox. Like some of that counter spell, the lasso I remember was insane. A lot of good swaps finding in, overseas with big hooks. So just a real great match. Shout out to all the players for the performance they just put on for us today. I mean, I'm sure that the fans are going to be, the cheering masses are going to be happy with that one.
Totally agree. I don't think there's anything else I could add. I think we just across the board saw a really high level from every player in every position.
Yeah, absolutely.
We doing our MVP?
Yeah, I think yeah, let's look into our MVP when it's ready, but I still think we have a little bit to go on that one just yet. I will say, Dan, I got to ask you, what do you think of the new heroes? Like what is your personal thought about what you want to see more of, right? Of the 3 new heroes that we have, we saw Silver was the only one we saw featured in this particular match. But of Graves and Rem, like what do you want to see more of? What are you excited about in terms of the builds, the strategies that some of our other teams might bring?
Yeah, it's difficult. It's because we are having new mechanics introduced with the last 3 heroes. It's like new mechanics, but it looks like we have the MVP coming up. But I'll quickly say that the Graves one is interesting because I think it's really cool to have someone that can summon like these neutrals that can just serve as map control, and you can be in 2 places at once with that. I think that's a very interesting mechanic, and it makes it a little bit more mobile-like. I am curious how they will go down that lane a bit more in the future, because we up until this moment, until Graves was added, we didn't have anything like that in terms of these map control abilities. And so I'm curious what else will come from that perspective.
Yeah, so I'm excited too. Of course, we do have that MVP coming up. I don't know that this one is going to be too shocking to anybody. It's Lystic. Went off a relatively tough early game and really brought the game back, clutched out a lot of these fights. I think that some of those moments nearly got killed, and yet was able to turn into that Lycan form, turn around the team fight. And with this incredible investment into the green items, that tankiness paying off, being that last man standing in some of our key late game team fights. Got to give it to Lystic, making this new hero sing. I mean, hey, these players have not that much practice on this character, and so to be able to put on a really solid performance on, what is it, like a few days into this new hero being out is I think a really impressive sign. And also I like Lystic being able to be on a little bit more of a carry role. Like in the past, he's played a lot of Abrams, a lot of these frontliners, which yes, I think Silver is a little bit like that, but when you go ulti form, man, this hero is a carry. Like the damage you put out, very, very real, even with the build being pretty invested in tankiness.
Yeah, I totally agree. And again, we talked about it in the early game too. This hero has, I think, a really high skill ceiling because the gun is hard to connect with, but the damage is really huge, and there's a lot of mobility. So if you combine those 3 few ideas, that actually means that your mechanics have to be pretty crazy to get the most out of a hero like Silver. So even though the Lycan form's kind of insane, where you just like hold mouse 1 down and charge at people and spam your abilities, I feel like I'm more impressed by the regular Silver and just sort of what you can get, the mileage you can get in the laning phase from that.
I gotta say, I think this is the ultimate too early to call hot take, but Unstoppable, the item of the day right now. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen this many Unstoppables built in a game, especially how early they were coming up. Like everyone was really valuing that debuff resistance or the debuff immunity that Unstoppable brings to you. In the past, it felt like you could just get away buying debuff remover and felt like, hey, we get the resist, we get the purge, that's good enough. Now it feels like, hey, you want that passive stat, but the active does so much, right? Letting you full commit even against, some of the big lockdown threats that can be brought to bear against you in the late game. I think we're going to see a lot of Unstoppable buys today if this game 1 is any kind of a bellwether.
Jake, I'm sorry, I have to jump in really quickly because there's been a massive donation that just came through to the prize pool. Subi Juby, $500.
Oh my God! We've got to be
every week, guys. A massive shout out. Let's get a couple of in chat for Subi Juby. $500 straight to the players.
We just hit the Awu donation goal. Surely, Jason. Surely we've doubled up to hit the Awu goal.
I'm working with production to do some spicy. Spicy is the wrong word. Some fun stuff during the show.
Okay. Yeah, so we're going to have to awoo with all the Lycan forms, which given the cooldown of this ultimate, I'm going to forget. I no promises, guys. I'll do my absolute best. But when it gets into the crazy team fight, I'll have to slip an awoo into my play-by-play.
Nice. It can be done. I guess it's time for a quick break then, Jake.
Yeah.
To get us into that last final best of 3 here for the EU segment of the show. If again it's your first time, this is our money match. This is the best. This is the best that Europe has to offer. So join us after the break for some of that.